just show us with your hands where you're happy to have the length to. Yeah, I think that's really good. I think just that's a nice length.
Yeah.
I don't actually think we need to change anything else. It's actually just taking this length off all the way around, and we'll keep it quite sort of voluptuous on the hands. We'll keep a fair bit of weight in there.
I like a bit of weight.
Yeah.
In here, when did you last have it coloured?
It wasn't long ago, just before
when
Christmas.
I got the pink taken out, and I had a semi-permanent kind of pink.
Yeah.
And I got that taken out, and it went like completely blonde, and then we just toned it, just make it like a blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. So today I'm going to powder it all. How we're going to do that will be in certain sections.
Okay.
Some bits onto your root, some bits off.
It's actually going to apply it onto your scalp.
It will
tingle.
I've had
Yes.
my scalp bleached before.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I
Did it
was
hurt?
strawberry blonde for a bit, yeah. I had some scabs, but it's fine.
Okay, well I'm hopefully not going to give you scabs.
Yeah.
We're here today with Tahlia. Thanks for coming, Tahlia. A beautiful, beautiful client today. And welcome back, Stevie.
Hello.
Colour extraordinaire. Thanks for travelling down from Sydney again.
Happy days, happy days.
We're going to do some really exciting stuff today. Can't wait. Okay, we're about to start the haircut. Something I say about sectioning, it's actually a double-edged sword. Sectioning can actually make your haircut quite accurate and get a better result. But if you overcomplicate things by taking too many sections, you can actually slow you down, make you quite inefficient. I'm just going to take a section that I can manage with my scissor and my comb. I'm going to work square, making sure that I always stay within the head shape. I'm not going to do shifted distribution, so we're going to bring it down, and I'm just going to repeat that until I run out of hair. Remember, he's a stirrer. So I've finished the back. To work into the sides, I'm going to go section by section, bringing it all into the back, making sure that I stay within the head shape again. We don't want to follow it around because you'll end up with that dip in there, which is something that's pretty commonly done. So I want to make sure that we stay, it's almost like if you can imagine a rectangle or a square. I guess it's more of a rectangle because the ends are shorter than the sides. So we want to do that. And then once we've done that, we'll eventually run out of hair, and then we'll work on doing more on the sides. The best way to make sure you don't cut the corner off, when you're working on the right, sit to the left. When you're working on the left, sit to the right, and you're automatically over-directed. Otherwise, as a right-handed person, you'll follow this side around because that's just what you do, and then this side you'll do right. So I still remember when I first met you, when you were watching your brother play football.
Was I?
And I was watching William play football, my nephew. And I said to my sister, I go, who's that? She'd be, oh, what did I say? It was quite funny. I said, she'd make a really good model. And then I've actually felt stupid because she told me that you'd been in Sydney for quite some time and you'd had a lot of modelling experience. So how did that come about?
I started around when I was 13. I did a charity runway in Canberra, and my photos were posted on Facebook and seen by an agency in Sydney. And from there I travelled to Sydney like once a week out of school. I was having to do my assignments on the drive and just doing editorials and runways and Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week.
At 13?
Mercedes-Benz was more when I was 15.
Wow.
So this is all through high school. And then in year 11 and 12 I decided to do accredited study so that I could finish early. I got all my points through volunteering around Canberra. And Volunteering, yeah.
So what, doing volunteer work?
Yeah,
for
so
charities?
I worked at like Enlightened and Floriade and Backstage
cool.
at Fash Fest and stuff like that. And then I was able to graduate midway through year 12 and move to Sydney. And I moved to Bondi. I was living in a couple's apartment. I rented out one of their bedrooms on Bondi Beach and lived there for 6 months.
And what did you do mainly while you were in Sydney? Obviously modelling, but
yeah.
Did you work for someone specifically, or?
I worked in a cafe for a bit in Coogee.
Yeah.
But mainly I was working once or twice a week, and yeah, the money I was getting was paying for rent, so I was just hanging around at the beach. And
in terms of like modelling work, what was the coolest job that you did?
Coolest would still be Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, because that's a big experience.
Yeah.
I also was working for Colours and Paddy and Bianca Spender on their website type stuff as well.
Wow.
A lot of just magazine and editorial work was a lot of fun.
So now you know why I felt like a goose when I said you'd make a good model, because by the time I'd met you, you were well established, right?
Well, yeah.
That's crazy.
Been doing it since I was 13, I'm now 19.
Wow. And you're back in Canberra, so...
I am. I'm studying at UC.
What do you start? So you're doing a degree now?
Yes,
Yeah,
communications and media.
So was there a catalyst for you returning? Was it just like you'd sort of exhausted the avenues of exploring modelling in Sydney, or you realise now you can do it from Canberra? Or?
Well, I realised after a couple of months in Sydney that it wasn't 100% for me. I wanted to do more. So I decided to move back to Canberra and go to uni and keep doing it. I'm still not in Sydney anymore. I'm not with my agency in Sydney. More freelance stuff, but yeah.
And it was easy to settle back into Canberra life?
Very easy.
Well, I'm glad that I met you, because we've had a lot of creative experiences together,
yeah.
and this is just another an amazing moment in what is the hair journey of Tahlia Langdown.
Yeah.
Does it feel shorter?
Yeah, it does.
Look, it's going to look amazing.
I'm excited. I like shorter hair.
What did Coco Chanel say? A woman who changes her hair is about to change her life.
I change my hair a lot.
That's good. You like change. So what's planned for 2019?
A lot of travel.
Nice. Where's the first place?
First place is 2 months in Europe. Just backpacking.
When do you leave?
That's May, end of May.
Backpacking.
Yeah.
Who are you going with?
One of my best friends. We decided to go together, and we're doing a tour for the first half with Top Deck, and yeah, we booked our tour and our flights, so it's all coming together, getting excited. And then the second trip is going to be on a yacht in the Caribbean.
Oh, that sounds horrible. No, you don't want to go. I mean,
for my 20th birthday.
the Caribbean and the yacht, no, it doesn't sound fun at all. So you're in May?
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be in Europe in August, but not May.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be May, June, July.
So if you're going, how long did you say you'll be on the road for?
It'll be 2 months near the end.
2 months,
so
May, June. Oh, you'll be back.
yeah.
I was going to say, otherwise we'll catch up for a trim and a smile in Europe somewhere.
Oh,
You'll be home. That's good. I'll look forward to hearing all about it when you get back.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Were your parents worried?
When I first told them, yeah, but now they're getting used to it and now they're getting excited for
Mate,
it.
you lived in Sydney by yourself at 13, like.
Not 13. I was 17.
You're 17, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you said you moved up there to do modelling when you were 13.
No,
that was when you
I
did your
was-
first modelling gig?
Yeah.
Right.
So I would travel to Sydney while I was still in high school and yeah, on top of everything. And having to do assignments while I was at shoots or getting my hair and makeup done. I had my laptop out.
It's pretty common. A lot of the
Yeah.
models that I work with always bringing something with them
Yeah.
to do, generally
For their
uni
uni
work
work.
or something. Yeah. Okay, so you can see that I've worked all the hair into my original baseline. It's really important that you make sure that you don't drag this over the ear. Don't be scared to actually really comb it all back. Remember, we want to work within that rectangle shape.
Cut.
And now that I'm square, we're just going to take the last of the hair that reaches the baseline out. It's really important we check the sides, and I like to do that by spinning my client around. Tahlia, if you could just look in the mirror please, that'd be great. Make sure that you haven't left any hair in behind the ear. Now that we've turned her head, the shoulder is no longer an obstacle. You guys out there who cut hair, you're probably like me in saying it would be amazing if we could take people's ears and shoulders off while we do this, because they're the two things that give us the most grief when we're cutting hair around this length. So now that I've turned Tahlia's head to the side, that's no longer a problem. And you can see this little hair here, that's actually what was caught behind her ear. So it's very important that we make sure that we're thorough when we're combing this out, always using the wide end of the comb. We don't want to have any tension over the ear, otherwise you're going to get a bump there. And don't cut into the back. So we're just, you can see here, we're just going to literally freehand. If the hair moves around on you, you can use your comb to hold it. And we're done, and now we're going to repeat that on the other side. I like that little kick towards the front. If you did want to do it square, you could come in and use your comb and you could cut that off square. But Tahlia and I discussed about leaving some hair towards the front, and I like that little kick that you get in that point there towards the front. I'm not going to cut that off. Now we just need to repeat that on the other side. That's me done.
Okay, so with Tahlia today, we want to be pink. So I'm gonna approach this in what I think is the best way possible, which is powder lightener. I'm gonna lighten through, so I'll probably lighten about a finger from the root into sort of, I'll probably feather it into here. You can see this is sort of already a highlighted level 9. And I'll start from the back, moving forward. I'll then do roots next, and finally I'll run some powder and 5-volt through the ends, so we get a little bit more of a kick and a lift. It's going to be fun.
I'm gonna have to start calling you Mr. Pink.
Yeah.
Hey?
Yeah, well,
Pink hair, Stevie's specialty.
well, you know, a one-trick pony maybe. But look, I'm super excited to come down and play with some colour. So
It's great to have you, mate.
thanks.
I'll leave you to it. You need anything?
I've got all of my Matrix must-haves, so I'm ready to go.
All right, I'll see you out there.
So I'm using Matrix Lightmaster. I always weigh my colour. I find that I do a 1 to 2 mix. The reason I do this, and I always use my ping that aerates and gives me a lot of fluffy product to put on, but I find that I get the same result time and time again rather than just guesstimating. Okay, when I'm approaching powder lightener, there's sort of a few things that always go through my head, and there's things that I like to do, it's because I like to do it. So when you're a hairdresser, we all have preference, right? I'm not saying what I do is the right way, and I know that a lot of people look at it and go either, you know, you should go from bottom to top or top to bottom. Something like this I want to do quite quickly, so I'm going to work from top to bottom. And really, for me, it's all about speed. Powder lightening is about speed. I want to use lots of powder. I'm going to do the back first. And so we'll just sort of get into it. But also, you need to try and work reasonably quickly in your, while we're doing it as well. So I'll section it up and out of the way. And really what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working from sort of about here to here and feathering through. Okay. So I've just placed a foil. I'm going to start powdering. I'm using Lightmaster 20 volt, and as you can see, off the roots. And I'm just going to put that there. And often when I'm teaching, people, I always say use more powder, more powder. Yeah, I always use a lot of powder. And then when I go around the class, honestly, my one biggest tip in powder lightener is if you think you've got enough, do it just a little bit more. It's like baking a cake. The frosting, I want to see it shine. How's that though? I mixed up 100 grams of powder, 200 developer, and I know I'm going to have to go and mix up more. Yes, we've got a lot of hair, but I'm using a lot of product too. I speak about visual hairdressing and colour, so, and what I mean by that often is you're looking at what the actual undercoat is shining through, because then you can visualize that actually you're trying to make it as even as possible. So it's all about trying to create an even canvas. So when you get to a sort of a yellow, you can then go, okay, I need to do my roots, because then by this time you can then put powder through here. It's all about making it as visual and even as possible. I had to think about that. Okay, just to come back and tell you what I've done. Sectioned the hair into 4 sections, 4 quadrants. I've stayed at about a centimetre off the root, off that heat band. Powder lightener and 20 volts, so Lightmaster 20 volt and Bond. And sort of feathered into where you can already see this pre-existing blonde. For me, powder is a very visual process. So I'm gonna sit and watch. We turn the aircon down a little bit so it's not so cold in here. So an atmosphere does make a big difference to hair colour and processing time. So yeah, I'm going to watch it, and then we'll come back in. I'll then roots next, so my roots, and finally I will then lay some powder across the ends. See you in a minute. 45. I'm back with some more powder lightener. What I'm doing here is I'm just going through, checking my application. Now, it doesn't matter how good you think you are as a colorist. Sometimes hair clogs together or it mix. I really always try and go through and just double check, and I use my fingers often just to sort of blend the powder through. I run with cuticle, and so what I'm doing is checking color but also checking my own application. We make mistakes, so that my part of that is to stop making mistakes by just checking. And then, but I'm also looking for colour and seeing how even my colour is lifting up. I'm going to guess at 5 minutes I'm going to start applying at my roots. I think I'm on a 7.5, like it's between a 7 and an 8 already. When I'm at an 8, I'm going to come into my roots, and I'll probably then go straight into my ends after. We know we're after a pink. I only need a level 9. One of the, I think, secrets for me in powder is actually speed. I think a lot of hairdressers were quite fearful about breaking hair. I guess a pro tip would be to try and work, yes, neatly, but speedy, because it's the best way. Working fast and neat, you're going to get the best process, the best outcome, and quickly, because powder is all about timing. Okay, just finishing up. I've got powder now from roots to sort of feathered into that mid-ends. What I'm looking for is for it to be as even as possible before I go into those ends with a powder and 5-volt. But it's all looking good. Okay, so last little bit, I'm using powder and 5-volt and Bond. Our ends were already a level 9, so I'm only just sort of, I kind of want to loosen up that colour a little bit. 5-volt, so it's nice and gentle. Again, running with cuticle, visual, and this hair, you know, it's all there. It's holding. Done a couple little strand tests, and I'm, you know, a pink has that warmth to it. But I don't want to see too much warmth when I put my pink on, because then you end up having a much warmer version of pink. So I still want to get it to a good 10. All right, but I think we're going to get there. Application on, powder everywhere. This for me is a visual, so I'm going to let it cook, and then we're going to go to the basin, and you're going to come back to me when we're glazing. See you then.
What do you think?
Love it.
Amazing.
It looks really good.
Yeah, thanks for letting me cut it off. I just think the shape looks amazing on you. I mean, I had the easy part today. I just had to cut a canvas in a beautiful shape to complement your face, so you can paint it.
Mate, I had a lot of fun. I love how it sits nice and heavy, sort of super on trend, almost as if it's like a wig. That's what I like. But, you know, it's like really thick, and you know, you look super cute.
It definitely makes a statement.
Yeah, love that.
Come on.
Kiss a hug.
Hey!
Thanks, gorgeous.
Thank you.
I'm looking at these photos you took of me, mate. That's banging.
Mate,
Hey?
I think a result today. I think a pretty girl, but great haircut. You know, topped off with a fun, bright colour.
I just created a really cool shaped canvas for you to paint, man. You did all the work. Again.
No, hardly.
Well, then you make me look good.
I think it's teamwork.
Yeah. Pretty hard to make Tahlia look bad.
Yes.
Thanks. Second video in a row. Thanks for coming down, bro.
Thank you. Pink obviously is what I have to come down for, but I'm very happy to come down and colour. It was a lot of fun.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Cheers.